In a long-gone kingdom, it used to be traditional for the people to select a new king each year. Whoever is crowned king swears to leave the throne after a year and be thrown away on a lonely island, never to return. After a king's one-year reign, he was abandoned on a unique island, where he was to live out the rest of his days. The king would be dressed out in his finest attire, seated on an elephant, and driven around the entire country on this special occasion, so that he could give everyone a final farewell. Once people were leaving their old king on the island and returning when they saw a ship had just collapsed near them, and a young man was clinging to a wooden board to rescue himself. The young man was placed on their boat, taken to their nation, and offered to reign for a year because they were also looking for a new king. He initially refused to believe, but he eventually agreed to serve as king for a year. The residents there defined the rules and procedures of the kingdom and added that the kings would be leaving it on a certain island after a year. The young king asked his minister on the third day of his reign, "Show me the place where all the previous kings were sent." The king's desires were respected. Therefore, plans were made to show him the island. The island was entirely covered in trees and filled with wild animals. Even outside the island, one could hear the sounds of these animals. The king went a little deeper into the forest to investigate when he discovered the skeletons of each of his earlier kings. He realized that very soon he would experience the same state and that wild creatures would devour and tear him to pieces. When the king returned to the country, he gathered 100 strong and healthy workers. He brought them all to the island and ordered them to clear the forest in a month. All dangerous creatures should be put to death, and all unneeded trees should be removed. Every month, he took a visit to the island and personally oversaw the construction. All the harmful animals were killed in the first month, and many trees were destroyed. The island had been cleaned entirely by the second month. Now, the king gave the workers orders to construct lovely gardens throughout the island. He brought a variety of pets to the island, including sheep, cows, ducks, and buffaloes. The king gave his servants instructions to construct a magnificent home and a sizable harbor on the island in the third month. The island changed into a lovely city as the months went by. The young king dressed simply and didn't spend much money on himself. He constructed the island mostly with revenue from his kingdom. "I know I will be released to the island in 2 months, but I want to go now," the king told his minister 10 months later. "You will need to wait 2 more months for the year to conclude." The minister and the other ministers informed the king when they could not come to an agreement. "Only when a full year has passed will you be allowed to leave the island." After 2 months, the year-long reign of the king finally came to an end. According to tradition, in order for their king to bid goodbye to his people, they clothed him in magnificent attire and placed him atop an elephant. The king's happiness during his goodbye banquet was a complete surprise. He was questioned by the populace. "Why are you laughing while all the past kings were sobbing on this occasion?" The young king responded, "You haven't heard the wise say, when you come into this world as a little child, you're crying while everyone else is laughing. Live your life in such a way that when you pass away, you are laughing while the rest of the world is crying." I've experienced such a life. I was thinking and making plans for my future as the other kings were getting lost in the palace's vibrant colors. This island is now a lovely spot where I can live out the rest of my days in peace and tranquility. Remember, this story of the young king teaches us the profound benefits of planning for the future. By taking control of his circumstances and turning a desolate island into a thriving paradise, he shows us the power of proactive planning. Planning empowers us to set goals, allocate resources wisely, and navigate challenges with confidence. Embracing the practice of planning allows us to shape our own destinies and create a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. So, let us dare to dream, set goals, and plan for a brighter tomorrow. For it is in planning that we lay the foundation for a successful and meaningful future.